T-Robe.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Not much, man. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm delated you're here.
Yeah, man. What's going on, man? What's going on?
This is good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Your crazy friend, Mr. Terry was like, adamant that I had you on. I said, man, he's already on my list. And I said, but it's your responsibility to get him here. He says, I'll put that on me.
Well, it's the craziest thing because, he hits me up and he goes, listen, man, you really got to be on this podcast. You got to be on it. It's a great time. You're going to enjoy yourself. I said, all right, I'll do it because, it's one of those things where,
sure.
I'm just like, all right, whatever. It's all about exposure. And then I started looking you up and seeing who you were. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to go do this.
Thank you.
So we made the plans to do it. And, man, my wife and my daughter, and it's just one of those things like where,
life.
Well, I got a 7-year-old. She just turned 7 on Saturday.
God bless you.
Yeah. Oh, my God, man. So she just turned 7 on Saturday, and she's just a whirlwind. In fact, I dropped her off at gymnastics right before I came here. So it's one of those things. So sorry to cancel the last couple times, but
that's all right. You're
man,
here.
We're in the building, and I at least kept in touch and
You
said, "Hey,
did.
I can't do it, but
No,
I
you're
got you."
good.
So,
And knock on wood, everybody that we have been. No one's canceled on us, like flat out just canceled. We had to do some rescheduling. So that's kind of an honor.
Yeah.
No one's paid us lip service. Everybody's come on.
You should have consideration. Someone wants to do a project with you or work with you.
Yeah.
Or have a little bit of professionalism.
You think.
And, so, hey,
You think.
But here we are. Here we are talking shit.
So we haven't started talking shit yet. So let me ask you something. You're from Aliquippa, right?
I am. Born and raised.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there when the hood wasn't so hood. It was real good back in the day. JNL was rolling, and downtown was like a popping and live thing, and you go in there now and it's like
not safe.
Tumbleweed and
downtown.
Downtown, it's like everything's
Nothing
boarded
there.
up now.
Nothing
Everything's
there.
boarded up, and it's. I'm black and I'm scared to go there. I'm from there, and I'm like, I ain't going to this motherfucker. I'm like, I don't even want to come there, man. I don't even get out of my car, man. I turn my music up and just drive through.
I had to go to the post office down there about a year ago. Pick up a package or something. They misrouted a package to me.
And you made it out.
Well, I was, when I drove around, I'm like, I had not been down there in a while. I was like,
see,
holy
that
shit.
and the library, the two whitest places in downtown Pittsburgh.
I still didn't feel safe. I still didn't feel safe.
You go to any other establishment down there, I don't know, man. I don't know.
And speaking of that, I just, I saw one of your acts, or part of your act, where you're talking about being married to a white woman.
Oh yeah.
And like she's doing all the white things with your kid, and you're doing all the black things with your kid.
The White Wednesdays, man. So
White
Wednesdays.
That's White Wednesdays.
Well, because Wednesdays are my day to run my errands. This is a true story, man. Is it like people think I tell jokes? This shit is like really happens at my house. Like I have a dysfunctional, fucked up household. So on Wednesdays is my day to run my errands, right? That's my wife's day to watch my daughter.
Okay.
So the funny thing is this. All right, so I'm out running errands. They're at home playing these stupid ass games. They call it White Wednesdays in my house, right?
White Wednesdays.
That's where my wife is teaching my daughter to be white as possible.
You give us one fucking day, huh?
So it's fucked up, right? So here's the deal. I'm out running errands. I come home. I walk in the house. I'm like, hey, Dad's home. My wife looks at me and goes, hey, guess who loves hummus? I'm like, what? Hummus? I look at my daughter. She's like, yeah, Daddy, free bird. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So on Mondays, that's my day to watch my daughter, right? That's my day to niggertize her. That's what I'm going to do on Mondays, right? We reverse all this shit.
Okay.
We wake up late. We watch Sanford and Son. I give her chicken, watermelon, and Kool-Aid, and sometimes I put a little bit of Hennessy in the Kool-Aid because, bitch, you gonna be black. I don't give a fuck. That's a true story. That happened at my house. Even up to and including the Hennessy. Yeah.
What's the story about you asking your wife one time where you wanted to go for dinner, and she said, "Are we
the Red Lobster, Red Lobster, man." Well, here's the deal. So when I first got with her, I thought she was a little bit racist. I'm like, she might be a little bit racist. We'll see though, So I asked her out to eat. I'm like, you want to go out to eat? She goes, yeah, let's go to. And she looked at me and said, it's your choice. You pick the restaurant.
Okay.
I say, let's go to Red Lobster. She looks at me and goes, for what? It's not your birthday. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? She's like, and she looked me dead in my eyes and she goes, yeah, don't all black people go to Red Lobster on their birthday? And I thought about it and I'm like, yeah, bitch, we do. But you calm down, I want Red Lobster anyways, We go to Red Lobster anyways. I'm standing on the line waiting to get seated. I turn around, the door opens up. It's my buddy James from high school, black guy. True story, black guy. I'm like, James, what's up, bro? How you been? I shake his hand. I said, James, meet my wife. James, this is Missy. Missy, this is James. James looks at her and goes, hi, Missy, how are you? Missy looks at James and goes, happy birthday. I'm like, no, motherfucker, what are you doing?
That's so wrong.
James looked at her and goes, how'd you know? How'd you know? This is ridiculous, man. This is my life, man. This is my life.
When did you decide that comedy was your thing? Like, did you do it since you were young, really young?
Well, no, I was always a cut up. You know what I mean? Like, I was always class clown. I was a silly dude for a long time, but I never really thought about doing stand up until I moved to Philadelphia. So I played football for a long time, and then I played semi-pro football, and then I got hurt. I tore my ACL and my MCL.
Okay.
And I left here, and I went to. Well, I actually was living at my mom's, and then this guy, his name is John Flasco. He's passed away since, but John Flasco, he was a big fan of mine, and he followed me everywhere. I played football at Pitt and everything, so he followed me through my whole career. And he comes up to me one day. He goes, we were at the grocery store. He goes, "What are you doing now?" I was like, nothing. And he goes, "Why don't you become a flight attendant?" I'm like, what? Aren't they gay? No, I'm not even gay. I'm not homophobic.
It's not a requirement. I hear.
That's his exact words. It's not a requirement. And then this is how he got me. He goes, think about it. He goes, you're not gay, right? I go, no. He goes, and if 90% of the flight attendants are gay, and you're on the 10% that's not, think of all the women that are there for you. And I started thinking, I'm like, travel, hoes. 401k, paycheck. I ain't doing shit anyways. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna go see this guy. I go up to Pittsburgh International. I see him. The most beautiful flight attendants were in his office already. They had their fucking uniforms on, and next thing I know, I was living in Philadelphia, and I was a full-time flight attendant, man.
Okay.
And I made about $80,000 a year. I worked 2 weeks out of the month, and I traveled the country. I would work my 2 weeks back to back to back. Mm-hmm. So I would have 15 days on, and I'd have 15 or 16
my wife
off.
was. I get it.
Right?
I know the lifestyle very well.
So did you know that lifestyle?
Very well.
So I became a block holder, the whole bit or whatever. Uh-huh. So the whole thing ended up working out for me. I stayed there until 9/11 happened.
Okay.
Now, you asked me how I became a flight attendant. I mean, how I got into comedy.
Yeah.
It was because I was a flight attendant, and I would make fun of passengers and just be silly with them, and people would always have like the best time with me, man. Mm-hmm. So I remember this one time in particular.
It was the free booze.
Yeah, that's what it was. Man, we used to steal that shit. We'd steal the booze and the money. I didn't. Other people did. All right, pay attention. All right. Not T-Robe. All right, other people. So, we're literally on this flight, man, and the flight was delayed, and it might have been from Philadelphia to Miami, which is like a 2 hour and 10 minute flight.
Yeah.
2 hour 20 minute flight. So we're leaving Philadelphia. And we're delayed probably an hour or something like that. It might have been a weather delay. I can't remember. But this guy gets on the plane, and he was an asshole right from boarding. Like I'm in first class boarding.
Was he a first class passenger?
No, he was in
wasn't.
He was in 17C.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna break this down for you. This guy's in 17C. I'm at the beginning saying hi to people as they're coming on. I'm like, hi, sir, how's it going? And he just kind of gave me one of those, like, I'm like, oh, well, fuck you too, buddy, whatever. Go sit down. So I don't give a shit, dude. Like, I really don't even care. Like, I'm just here, So he sits down, we get up in the air, and we make our announcements or whatever, and then I notice he's being, like, unruly a little bit. Like, there's some commotion around his area, and I can tell, he's loud. You can hear him. And we hadn't even started serving anything yet, right? So we get up in the air, and then we started, get our shit together. We got to serve. So I'm walking back, and I walk past. I look at him, and he's just uncomfortable. He's like huffing and puffing and losing his mind, right? All right, this guy's an idiot. Whatever. I go in the back. We get all of our stuff together. We come out to serve. So we come all the way to the front of the cabin, and then we got to start working our way down. He's sitting in 17C. Now, the way this works, and I'm sure your wife can tell you, is U.S. Airways, you serve window to aisle, ladies first. So that means if he's sitting in 17C, it's 17A and B. The A would be the window, the B is the middle seat.
Right.
So if there's a lady sitting in B, you would have to go to her first.
Sure.
Then you would have to go to 17A and then to C. And you always start on the right side of the cabin, and then you work your way A, B, C, D, E, F accordingly. Well, I'm getting to like 16, and this guy's just, I mean, he's just impatient. I don't know what the hell this problem is, right? I'm like, something's wrong with this guy, man. I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna fuck with him, you know? So I get to him, and I look like I was gonna go wait on these guys, and I was like, fuck that. And I waited on DEF first.
Okay.
I can hear him, like, I can just see him. He's like tussling, he's pissed. Then I put down a napkin on B. Like he was last in the whole aisle.
Right.
I did it on purpose.
Right.
And I put down a napkin on A, a napkin on C, and I go to B, like, here's your peanuts. I go to A, here's your peanuts. And I looked at him, I'm like, here's your peanuts. And I kind of like gave him one of those, you know, like, I know you're being a jerk. I can be one too, you know?
Right.
So, you know those beverage napkins? They're like little squares.
Mm-hmm.
He opens it up. It's in 4s now, right? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's doing this with it. He's smoothing it out, right? I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing? I look at everybody. I'm like, what do you want to drink? What do you want to drink? I'm making her drink. I hand him a drink. He rips up his peanuts. He pours them out on his napkin, right? Puts down the wrapper. I look at him and said, what do you want to drink, sir? He goes, give me a Bloody Mary. I'm like, that'll be $5. He goes, what are we having to eat on this flight? I said, well, it's only a 2-hour flight. There's no food. I said, if you're hungry, I'll give you another pack of peanuts. He goes, I don't want another fucking pack of peanuts. I paid $550 for this flight. I want something to eat. I'm like, well, then you should have got that in the airport because there's no food on this flight, right? So I said, that's going to be $5. He goes, $5 for a drink, no food. He's like, $500 for a flight, there's no food, $5 for the drink. He's like, I fucking hate this airline. Like, he's like going nuts. I don't know what his problem was. Then I'm making this drink, and I'm like, well, you want the drink? He goes, yeah, I want the drink. I'm making him the drink. I look down, he's counting the peanuts.
Wait, what?
He's counting the peanuts.
Okay.
That he poured out on that napkin. He's counting them.
Okay.
I'm like, what the fuck's this dude doing? So I make his drink. I set his drink down. I'm like, it's $5. And he looked at me and goes, seriously? $500 for this flight, and I get 10 fucking peanuts? I picked the peanut up and I ate it. And I said, I'm so sorry, sir. You're only supposed to get 9. Dickhead. Fuck you.
Oh my God.
And that was the moment that I knew I was going to be a comedian because everyone around him started clapping.
No shit.
It was, I got like an applause break, you know, and I'm like, oh shit. So he calls my supervisor, and my supervisor, I come back to Philly. When I land, I'm like, Peter Pellegrino wants to see you in his office. I'm like, what the, because you never see your supervisor, right? I go up, I see him. He's like, is this true, this story yours? Did you do? I was like, yeah. He was like, congratulations, that shit's fucking hilarious. He didn't write me up or anything.
That was before 9/11?
Yeah, that was before 9/11.
Yeah, because now you get agitated in a plane, you're done, right?
Yeah.
They'll move you out,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, that was before 9/11. Plus, they don't even do peanuts anymore because people have peanut allergy. So yeah, that was back when they were doing peanuts. So, and then, so there's a comedy club in Philadelphia, not anymore, but it was called the Laugh House. It was on South Street.
Right.
And I go there one night. To watch a show, and I'm on a date with this young lady, and we're sitting front row, yep. And people have been saying you should consider doing comedy. So I went with the intent to study the art form, and to see if it's something that I truly could do.
Okay.
I didn't go with the intent of I'm going to laugh and have a good time tonight. Well, Tommy Davidson,
who's now to school.
Yeah, I was going to school. Tommy Davidson, who's now a good friend of mine, was on stage performing. So I go, me and this girl are on a date, and I'm kind of observing him. Like, okay, he's standing like this, his mic position's like this. Like, I'm doing all of this in my mind. I'm not even listening to what the fuck he's saying. I'm just looking at his mannerisms.
All right.
And I'm trying to hear his timing and his voice inflection. And not that I was going to be him. I just wanted to know if I could see myself in that light, you know? And about a quarter of the way through his act, he goes, hey, you ain't fucking laughing at my shit. What's wrong with you? I'm like, man, I'm an aspiring comedian.
You said that.
Why the fuck did I say that? He goes, aspiring? I'm like, yeah, man, aspiring comedian, man. I want to do this. He goes, get on stage. I'm like, oh, no. I wasn't ready for that.
He pushed you up there.
So you know how the audience starts.
Oh, yeah,
they start clapping.
Choice. In the choice.
So I get on stage and I'm shitting bricks right now, right? And you know, Tommy Davidson.
Do you have any material in your head?
No, nothing. I just had. I've always been good at ripping on people.
Right on.
So, and that's
Came from out of the equipment.
that's my upbringing. I'll talk shit on you all day long. So I get on stage, and Tommy Davidson, he's standing there, and he goes, listen. He goes, I said, listen to me, man. I'm an aspiring comedian, meaning I've never done this. I want to do this. He goes, well, we're gonna get you started today. I was like, all right. What's the first thing I gotta learn? He was like, do you know your mama jokes? And this is back in 2001, the beginning of 2001. It's like March 2001. Yeah. I said, I absolutely know your mama jokes. He goes, I'm going to say one, and I'm going to give you the mic, and you're going to say one. He's like, these people are going to laugh. You guys want to hear this? And everyone's like, yeah. I'm like, I knew like two. You know what I mean? And one thing you know about a comedian is we're loaded. Like, I'm stocked and loaded. Like, if you yell out something in the audience, you might get me that one time. I'm gonna bury your ass after that. I'm gonna get you with 10.
Got it.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. And if I can remember right, it was something like your mother's so dumb she thought a quarterback was a refund or something like that. And he hands me the mic. I'm like, your mom's so fat she jumped in the air and got stuck. And then I hand him the mic back, and it went back and forth for a couple. And then he hit me with, your mom's house so small. I walked in the front door and I was in the backyard. It's stupid, right? It was the stupid jokes, but that it was hot back then. That's what that was what was going on. Yeah, and so he hands me the mic, and I don't have anything to say. I'm like, I ran out. I'm kind of like, yeah, I ran out. I was like, and then he just kept hitting me with them, and the crowd's like dying laughing. I'm getting embarrassed, and the type of person I am, like, I can't go for that. Like, I can't be embarrassed. Like that's just I come out swinging all day long. I don't lose. So he kept handing me the mic, and I don't have anything to say. Finally, he goes to hand me the mic, and I grabbed it, and he was like, "Oh shit!" And everybody's like, "Oh," And I'm like, "Your mama's pussy so dirty that I put a Q-tip in it. And I pulled it out to look like a sugar daddy."
Oh my god!
I did that, and the crowd erupted. They lost it. Right? They're like, "What the fuck is going on?" And that moment was the birth of T-Robe.
No shit.
Actually, it was Tony Roberson back then. I called myself Tony Roberson back then. And so the story...
Who called you T-Robe?
Well, that's my old college football buddies.
Okay.
And, in high school, T-Robe was my nickname.
All right.
So what happened was the birth of T-Robe, this is how it happened. My name was Tony Roberson on stage, but people kept calling me Roberson, which I hated.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't take it. But then there's this comedian named Tony Roberts. He's out of Detroit, Michigan. So year is like 2003. I get my first road gig ever.
Okay.
And it's in Miami.
Okay.
We're in the Coconut Grove at the Miami Improv. It's an off night. It's like a Wednesday night or a Thursday night or something like that. And they paid for my flight down. I had to pay for my own hotel. No, I'm sorry. They paid for my flight and my hotel, and they were paying me $150 to come and host a show. But I didn't know, I was hosting. I just knew I was on a show.
Right.
I was making $150. It was my first road gig ever.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm on a plane to go do comedy. That's what you want to do in this business. So I get down there. We were staying at the Mayfair Hotel, and I know that because Michael Jordan was staying there, and I was super excited that I was staying at the same hotel as Michael Jordan. The driver told me that on the way to the hotel, and I sat in that fucking lobby until this motherfucker came out, and I got a picture with Michael Jordan, right? But I remember calling my mom, being like, "Mom, I made it, man. I'm down here. Michael Jordan stayed at my hotel. I got a show tonight."
Right.
So I remember going into the hotel, and I said, "Hey, my name's Tony Roberson. I'm a comedian. I'm performing at the Improv tonight. I'm here, for my room." "Oh, we've been waiting for you. Give your bag to the concierge. He'll take it up, and you can go over there and get some water and some cookies and some whatever shit they had, and then go up to your room." I'm like, "All right, cool." They give me my room key. I go up to my room. I key in my room. Most beautiful fucking room I've ever seen in my life. It's a suite. It has a bidet. The shit that waters your ass. It has that. So I'm like, oh man, look at this place. I'm like, I call my mom again. Like, you don't need to. I'm in a suite. You got to see this. Mind you, I'm still only making $150 for the show, right?
But you're there.
But I'm there. So I go, do my thing. I go out shopping. I go get some food. I come back. I take a nap. And I'm having a great time. It's time for the show, right? Show was at 8 o'clock that night. And it was about 7. I go downstairs. I walk, because you could walk to the club. It was right in Coconut Grove.
Right.
And I take the elevator up. I walk right up to the comedy club, and I'm like, it was a line. I walk up to the front. I'm like, hey, I'm Tony Roberson. I'm here to perform tonight. Oh, we've been waiting for you, man. Come on in, bro. Couldn't wait to have you, man. Come on in. I come in. He goes, hey, you're gonna walk down this hall. There's 2 doors. The first one, you walk in that door. It's the green room.
Okay.
And I said, okay, cool. He goes, I'm gonna go in there. He said, enjoy yourself. You need anything, we'll send a server in for you. Cool. I go in there. There's a shrimp ring. There's a hoagie ring. There's like Grey Goose and tequila and all, Hennessy, everything you could,
right,
whatever you want,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking amazing. Like, all of this shit costs more than what I'm getting paid tonight, I'm in there eating shrimp. I'm hanging out. It's about 7:45, and the door opens up, and it's the comedian Tony Roberts. And he's like, hey, what's up, man? I said, hey, what's up, man? I said, my name's Tony. He's like, I'm Tony. I was like, oh, yeah, what's up? And we shook hands. I was like, I'm on the show with you, man. He's like, man, I fucking hate this club. He was, I get to my hotel. They tell me I'm already there. He's like, then I get to then I get to the venue, and they tell me I'm already here. And then it clicked, and I'm like, I'm Tony Roberson. You're Tony Roberts. I was like, I think I got your room. He was like, I know, I got queen beds. I got twin queen beds. I said, well, I already took a shit in your toilet, bro. You don't want that. You don't want that back. So from that moment on,
my God,
I became T-Robe. That's how T-Robe was born.
To avoid the confusion.
Yeah. It was just one of those things that he and we still work together. Like I just did a show with him last year, and we bring that. We actually told it on stage. He's like, "Come on here, let me tell you what this motherfucker did."
Yeah. So to you, reality is where all the humor is, right? I mean,
yeah.
So if you were to say, like, are you an observational comic? I mean, I hate labels. I mean, I don't like labels, but I mean, to try to get an understanding, like, where do you find the humor in everyday life, just the crazy stuff that happens?
Because I think in everyday life, that's where you do find the humor, because that's where people can relate to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, being relatable is a thing, you know what I mean? So, like, if I tell you a story and you're like, oh, man, like, I brought up the flight attendant thing, had no idea your wife was a flight attendant.
Yeah.
I'm sure tonight you go home and you tell her this, she either heard this because it's circled and
she probably heard it.
Was it in U.S. Airways? Did she work for you?
She works for American.
For American.
Yeah, she always worked for American.
Okay, so I mean, but it was like a thing where it circled.
I believe it.
The industry.
I believe it.
Like, people were like telling the story. I'm like, that's me. That was my story. That was me. So it was one of those things that that circled for a while. But it's all relatable, man. Like I always talk about my family.
Yeah.
I have a biracial daughter who's 7 years old. I got a son who's 23. I'm like, child support's a motherfucker. I had to pay one off to have another one. That's all that was. You know what I mean? You don't have 2 at a time. You have one, pay it off, have another one. It's like a car payment.
Pal, trust me.
Yeah, man. So that's what I try to do, man. I mean, it's just and I try to make it personal because there's a thing now where people have a tendency to try and steal your jokes.
Really? Is that a thing?
It's such a thing. I mean, comedy's wide, but it can also be narrow because you got to look at it like this. There's only so much you can talk about. I mean, there's black people do this, white people do that, or or my mama, or roaches, or whatever. It's like fucking stupid. You know what I mean? But like the way you got to look at this, man, is if you make it about yourself, it's hard to have your life stolen.
Got it.
So I talk about myself and my family. How many black guys married to a white woman, 23-year-old son, 7-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The daughter's biracial is very specific, and my son's black because his mother, that was from a previous marriage.
Right.
You know what I mean? So then I have my daughter who's 7 now, but
who likes hummus?
Who likes hummus? Apparently, we've been married 6 years, but my daughter's 7.
In Freeburg.
And people are like, oh, you had your daughter before you got married. I'm like, yeah, did the hard part first, or you did it like black people do. You make sure your kid's in the wedding. You know what I mean? Like, she's the flower girl too. That's it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, wait. We're gonna get back to the humor, but I'm gonna ask some serious questions if I can quit laughing here.
Sure.
Had your great friend Terry Jones on.
Great guy.
I'm gonna ask him some of the same questions. I'm gonna get your take on some of this stuff because you told me you breezed through, but you didn't do a deep dive. So this will be fresh to you, a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
What fascinates me about comics now is I think it has to be so much harder. I mean, I'm 54, so I grew up on Carlin. I actually had an old recording of Lenny Bruce from my uncle.
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
supposed to be listening to that stuff, but I was. But Cosby and Carlin, and Richard Pryor. I mean, I had all the albums. So I've ingested all this. I couldn't perform if I had to, but as a fan of comedy, I loved it. Right?
Yeah.
But it was so irreverent. Right. I go back to Eddie Murphy hitting early '80s. So
raw, delirious, all there. Yeah.
So irreverent.
Oh yeah.
So non-PC. Right?
Yeah.
And it was funny. It was offensive, I guess, to some people.
Yeah.
And I get it. And if someone feels bad, I get it, Tony. But ultimately, today, you have to walk a line, right?
Yeah, well, here's the deal. Okay, so I'm a humongous fan of Dave Chappelle. In fact, I've done about 30 shows with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've opened for him a bunch of times. I'm in with Live Nation, the whole bit.
Right.
In fact, if he comes anywhere near PA, the tri-state area, they call me and I go open.
Right.
So what I've learned from Dave Chappelle as him being like, I guess what you would say a sensei to me. I'm a student of the game always, and I will always be, because I'll never think I have this thing figured out. But what I've learned from him is comedy's an art form that allows me to express how I'm actually feeling and what I'm thinking on stage.
Okay.
And who are you, not you in particular, but anybody in the audience, to say that I can't express myself how I feel on stage at my fucking show? It's my show.
Amen.
And if you don't like it, don't fucking come. Now, with that being said, is there a line to being offensive and being yeah, I'm not going to be on stage imparting this, who's ever listening, and talking about me fucking a girl on her period. You don't do that. You don't go that far. That's because that's just plain out gross. But if I want to talk about, I mean, from anything from a person that's mentally disabled, and that without saying the R word, or black people, when I say nigga, or if I want, whatever it is that I feel, it's my expression of my art form. Now, I've been doing comedy in March. It'll be 19 years. So you're talking to a guy who came from an era where this PC shit wasn't even around.
Right.
So sometimes people, like, I have an agent, and his name's Dave Settlemeyer, and he's right up here on the hill here. Talent Network. Yeah, Talent Network, exactly. So he always says to me, he goes, man, we got a corporate gig tonight, man. He was like, can you fall back a little bit? And I say, yeah, I'll fall back. I get on the mic, I'm like, what the fuck's going on, everybody? He gets so jacked at me. And then I'll ask him, I'll be like, listen, I was told I had to chill out on a show, but can I go ahead and be the black guy that you guys want to see? And they all clap. They're like, yeah, every time. I do sheets, I do everywhere.
Yeah. So, Steelers, I saw a whole list of clients.
Yeah, I do the Steelers every year. Their training camp. Yeah. So I did a bunch of teams. So, but what I try and do is, I think it's one of those things that if you're not saying fuck every other sentence, because no one wants to hear that.
Yeah.
If your actual jokes are true, the way I write a joke is without the swearing, because I can tell the same joke clean,
right,
and I can take the swearing out of it.
Got it.
But when I'm at a comedy club and I'm having a few drinks, and if I drop a F-bomb, it don't matter. The joke is still funny.
Yeah, and it plays correctly. It can be impactful, right?
Exactly.
Can it be?
It can definitely be. Well, wordplay is a thing with comedy, and adjectives and how you describe something. And, can I talk and not swear? Absolutely. Do I want to swear? All day, because that's who I am. I fucking swear. So I don't want to hear. Oh, you're. But as long as you're not over the top about it, and you're not telling dick jokes left and right, and you're not, or shit jokes, and the typical dumb shit. Like, I talk about my family, and if I want to talk about my daughter getting on my fucking nerves, I can say that.
Yeah.
Because she's my daughter.
Yeah.
So, and I have a joke where I talk about being in a wheelchair with dirty tennis shoes. Because I think that's fucking ridiculous. And I tell it every time I see a dude in a wheelchair, and I tell it, and I lean over, and I'm like, the shoes are dirty. What the fuck's really going on here? Either those are hand-me-downs, or you can walk.
See, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm not in a wheelchair, but I mean, like,
one time after the show, it never fails. This the lady of the mother of the dude who was in the wheelchair come up and was like, I don't think your wheelchair bit is funny. I said, you know what? That's crazy. We had 350 people in here tonight. I said, and 349 of them were laughing. So much that I had to wait a second and take a drink of water. So if I lose that one fan, so be it. Now there is a thing. There's a fine line you got to cross. Like, so a good friend of mine is Gary Owen, and he was just in town here. I toured with Gary for like 6 years, and a lot of my, between him and Dave, those are the two people I idolize the most in the game. But I'm a huge fan of Bill Burr and Carlin and Lavelle Crawford's another favorite of mine. But the way. See, Gary's on a cusp now where he's starting to blow a little bit bigger, and what's going to happen with that is he has a bit where he says the R word that he's no longer saying. You know what I mean? Because the PC shit, the PC police, whoever it is, whatever community that you're talking about, whether it be gay or mentally disabled or whatever it is, I mean. Listen, black people been getting fucked with for years. You ain't got a group of black people like, hey, don't fuck with the blacks no more. No, but if you're gay and someone says something about gay, then gays can ruin your career.
Like a socially protected group almost, right?
So exactly. So you got to be careful, and it's a fine line. Now, listen, I have family members who are gay. I have friends who are gay. And I've learned the right way to approach it and say it. And sometimes if I'm on stage and I've been drinking a little bit, it might come out fucked up. But I'm a comedian. I'm doing it to entertain. It doesn't mean that I know women who share Bible verses but suck dicks all day long. You know what I'm saying? That's life. That's how life is. That's life. Just because you do something doesn't mean that's the gospel of what it is, and that's how it's going to be. So when you talk about PC, to me, I learned the best from Dave Chappelle. He had that Sticks and Stones that just came out. I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix.
I have. But you the opening monologue you're talking about?
Yes.
When he points at the audience?
Yes. He's like, "That's you." Yeah.
So interesting. So you could relate to that?
Yes, absolutely.
Terry couldn't. That pissed him off.
Yeah.
Did you have that conversation with him?
Yeah. Me and Terry, he didn't like that special per se.
Okay. Well, we talked about that aspect of it.
Yeah, that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So to me, I can relate to it, and I think this is why. Terry's not as aggressive as I am on stage.
I noticed that.
I'm very aggressive, and therefore I don't have people yelling out at my shows.
Right.
No one's really there's hardly any hecklers because my demeanor says, try it, I'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we just have two different personalities.
No, absolutely.
And the way that, but we work well together. Terry and I, we write together. He's the only comedian who I've ever allowed to my home to sit down at my home and write anything with.
Okay.
I don't write with anybody else. Now, Gary, I'll call him and bounce an idea off of him.
Right.
But as far as writing and sitting down and going through, I've done 3 1-hour specials at the Pittsburgh Improv, headline weekends.
Right.
Every one of them, Terry's come, fine tooth comb. We're doing this. We're gonna say that. And I'm like, I don't want to say that. He's like, no, say that. You're gonna kill it. He's like, he knows how to write in my mindset.
Got it.
Because he knows I'll be aggressive about whatever it is. He goes, you can tell that joke. I couldn't tell that joke.
Got it.
So that's a thing with him, and I'm thankful for that with him, and we do have two different outlooks and on different aspects of the game, which to me is, see, Terry has a different growth pattern than I do, and his is like methodical. Does that make sense?
Sure it does.
And he has a. And I'll even go, I mean, I've been doing it longer than Terry. I think I'm 19. I think he's like 14 or 15 years in. And what I think about it is his knowledge of the game and and our predecessors is so phenomenal. I don't know if that kid's read a ton of books.
We were very detailed.
Yeah, I mean, he's read a ton of books, and he's been watching, comics as a younger kid coming up. Whereas me, it was something I dove into because I always thought I could just rip on people, and then I learned the game afterwards. Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
he kind of was a student of the game as he was coming up. I just dove in and was like, give me that mic, fuck you, and then I started learning some of the things.
But he's very fascinated by the history of comedy, and the stylistic differences between all those pioneers.
Exactly. So whereas me, I have a tendency to not necessarily watch comedians, and I think my reason for that is because I don't want to cross paths or subconsciously say something that another comedian had already said, and then it drops in my mind.
That's hard though, huh?
Yeah, I rarely like watch comics, and I'll watch Dave Chappelle on Netflix. I've watched Chris Rock's special on there because our styles are so completely different.
Yeah.
But there's certain comics I know I can't go watch them. You know, and so whereas Terry will watch every single comedy special out because he's a major fan of the game. Like he's a major student of the game, and not that I'm not. It's just that I see my own path different.
Got it.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? So I want to always remain. So there's a thing where comedians have their voice on stage. You can go watch a comedian and be like, he sounds like such and such, or he reminds me of this guy, or he reminds me of this comedian. You see T-Robe, you're like, that's fucking T-Robe. And that's because I've always, it's my identity. I've created that. It's kind of hard to even duplicate.
Got it.
My voice, I'm all raspy, my cadence, the way I deliver.
Okay.
So I try not to get into that. I have some younger comics who come down to the Pittsburgh Improv because I run the open mic down there, and they come down and you can tell who was watching Kevin Hart. You can tell who was watching, Martin Lawrence or Ricky Smiley because they're mimicking. This one guy sounds like Mike Epps, the way he delivers.
Okay.
Yeah, you could tell their cadence.
Is that a rookie thing primarily?
That's definitely a rookie thing. It's somebody watching. See, there's an old saying, and I heard it all the time, but I just saw it differently. But the old saying was, watch somebody who's really good at what they do. And if you want to do what they're doing, you got to watch that person, how good they are, and then you try and mimic what they did. So you try to imitate what they did. See, some people take that mimic and imitate too far, and they do it verbatim, or they do it, to the point where it's like, you sound like that person now.
Got it.
Whereas I'm watching, remember I told you in the beginning of this, I was watching Tommy Davidson. So even from day one, I was watching his mannerisms. I wasn't listening to his tempo.
Right.
I wasn't hearing the jokes. I'm like, he's holding a mic, his stage presence. He's going over here and he's looking at this side of the audience now. Now he's addressing the middle. He never shunned anybody. Now he went to this side. That was the thing that I was into. I didn't give a shit what he was saying. Right. All I cared was, how is his stage presence? Could I do that? Could I move so freely about this, or am I going to stand there like shitting bricks? Got it. So, with that being said, you got to be very careful about that's how I feel. But Terry has his own voice on stage, and he watches everybody. I think he's watching them, and he's learning so much. And when our time comes, and when his time comes, and he blows, it's gonna be like, where the fuck did this kid come from? Right. So
what resonated with you so much about that opening monologue of Chappelle's? So he was blaming the audience for, or just saying the audience, it's all you guys. Yeah,
because he was like, and he was like, who do I sound like? He was like, you. That's you guys. Because you got to think about it. Okay, so there's a couple things. He had 2 specials before that, and talking about Trump in the one special and everything, and so obviously before he did Sticks and Stones, he got the backlash from those 2. And there was write-ups, and there was shit in these magazines and papers. He really care, though? Listen to me. They paid that man $80 million. What the hell? He never got to do comedy ever again.
That's what I'm trying to say. Does he really care?
But he literally can say, "Hey, I'm coming to the Benedum tomorrow. It'll be gone. Right, sold out. Right." So he's in major control of his career right now. Sure. So when I think about it is, I think he's right. And that's my personal opinion. That's my personal belief. Again, how dare you step on my creative art form? How dare you tell me, no, you can't say this? How dare you tell me, no, what you're thinking is wrong? What I'm saying may be offensive to you, but it's not offensive to everybody. You don't like it, don't watch it. Yeah. And don't buy a fucking ticket.
And the hypocrisy of the whole thing is that 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, certainly, and 40 and 50 years ago, absolutely. Yeah. None of it mattered.
None of it mattered. Now,
If it didn't bother you then.
I remember watching the Jeffersons and All in the Family, and he's saying honky and nigger on live on TV. I have some of them on DVDs where they're saying those words.
And the shows were fucking funny.
Yeah. Listen to me. I ain't never laughed so hard in my life than watching those shows.
To
yeah,
this
it's funny.
day.
Yeah. Funny. But now everything, you got to watch, man. And you know.
But why? Watch what? What exactly?
Well,
because we've labeled, we've taken the whole society to me and thrown everybody in groups.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't white, black, Mexican, Chinese. That's what Carlin and those guys dealt with.
Yeah.
No. In the black community, there's 7 different labels. In the white community, there's 12 different labels.
Yeah.
And then you mixed all those together based upon gun rights, sexuality.
Yeah. Politics, the whole bit, everything.
Yeah, politics. It's like we're labeling everything, man.
Well, it's become the thing to do. I don't know how that trend started. I don't get where it comes from. But me being a comedian, a stand-up comedian, and I've been doing it for 19 years, the era I come from, I never was told to watch anything. Saying faggot on stage was never a thing. You know what I mean? I get that it's offensive because it's the same as someone saying nigger to me, and I get that it's offensive. So do I say that on stage? Absolutely not. I don't say that on stage. But if I got a gay cousin that I'm gonna make fun of, I'm gonna make fun of his gay ass because he's my cousin. But I will never call a gay dude out in the audience and gay bash him.
Yeah,
I won't do that. But if I tell a gay joke, I don't want to hear from you after the show. Now, I do have a story about this one time I was telling a joke, and I actually wasn't even telling a joke. I was hosting the show. Somebody on the show got into it with an audience member. The audience member was gay. This is at the Pittsburgh Improv. This is probably like 2 years ago. And the audience member had said something, and the comedian goes, he was like, you suck dicks, or something like that, you know, and it got into this thing, and some people were laughing, some people weren't. And then they got into it. Comedian gets off, I get back on to bring up the next comedian, but as I'm on, I'm ad-libbing with the audience, and I'm talking, I'm like, who was the guy I was talking to? And he was like, and he pointed at him, I was like, I said, I see what he was saying, and I didn't say, oh, you know, yeah, you do suck dicks.
Yeah.
I just like, I see that. I see what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, and I said it like that, and everyone's like giggling about it. And then he yelled out something like, he yelled out, I forget what he yelled out, but whatever he yelled out, I was like, I said, listen, cuz I don't suck dicks. I don't even like this microphone this close. And I said that, right? I was like, bring up the next comedian. Show's over. God comes up to me afterwards and goes, I was very offended at the fact that you said you don't suck dicks. I said, because I don't. I said, now, if you suck dicks, that's fine.
Yeah.
You ain't sucking mine. And I don't suck dicks. And then he goes, I'm still offended. And I looked at him, I said, let me tell you something. You got 2 choices tonight. I said, you can walk away from me right now, or you can go tell the manager who's standing right there. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell you, get the fuck out of here. Like, I never was being offensive to you. And if you took offense to me saying, I don't even like this microphone here, well, guess what? That's my right to say that. What if I put a vagina in your face? How would you feel? You know what I mean? So he like basically was like, you know, and it was just one of those things that I think he just wanted to create something.
Sure.
But for what?
Sure.
Why didn't you go talk to the comedian who originally...
Did that make him feel better?
Who originally offended you and not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So those things are going to happen, man. I mean, again, the wheelchair shit, you're going to get people who always got something to say.
Why does anyone come... If you are the type of person that has made a decision that you're offendable... Because I'm not.
Right.
At all, ever.
Yeah.
For anything.
There's nothing you can say.
But if you are an offendable person and you have every right to live that way, why would you go to a comedy show?
Yeah. Don't even go.
Why would you go?
Like what do you think they're going to say there?
Exactly right.
They're going to be in there like giving Bible verses and giving out fucking communion and tea and crumpets and shit. Fuck out of here, dude. Like we're in here talking.
Mr. Rogers telling
jokes.
We're
in here talking shit. We're going off in
That's
here.
What I mean.
Like
why would you go?
Even this. Man. Even this. I've seen, now I stay away from politics on stage. That's my personal preference.
Yeah.
Because I already think that everyone's already being divided by the media and everything.
No doubt.
So it's like, well, black people this, white people this, or Trump this, or Obama this, or whatever. Okay, who I like personally doesn't need to be resonated on stage to you. Who I voted for, black. I'm pretty sure you can figure out I voted for the black guy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure you can figure that part out without me even saying it.
Doesn't matter.
But here's the problem. So I've seen comedians go on stage and say a Trump joke, and I've seen audience members like get pissed.
Yeah,
because
that's a shame too, though.
People love Trump or people hate Trump, and the people that love him, if you say something bad about him, they get jacked, and the people that hate him, if you say something good about him, they get jacked. So I stay away from it. But I literally have seen people, because most comedians are liberal, and most comedians, don't like Trump, most of them, and I'm not speaking on behalf of every one of them. Just the ones I know don't.
Right.
And I've seen comedians tell a Trump joke and people get the fuck out of here. Now,
which is crazy to me.
I'm talking like they get up and leave.
That whole concept's nuts to me.
Well, my thing is this. I love Obama because he was a great president to me. Now, if I go, maybe not to you or to anybody listening, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck about, don't tweet me, T-Robe, I don't give a fuck. That's my personal preference, right? If I go to a show to watch a comedian, and the comedian is bashing Obama, if the joke is clever enough for me to laugh, I'm going to laugh.
Right.
I got some white friends who got some good black jokes.
Right.
And I laugh at that shit.
I get it.
Because I got a sense of humor.
Right.
So if I hear a good Trump joke, I'm going to laugh at it.
Right.
It's not something I talk about on stage myself. It's just one of those things that I think if you tell any joke, whether it's Trump, Obama, or you're talking about roaches or pizza or fucking mood lights, I don't give a shit what you're talking about.
If it's funny.
If it's funny, it's funny.
Yeah. And that's, did you know Craig Gass?
I do.
Craig was on the show.
Yeah, I know
Craig.
Craig.
I've known him from the years from my prior guitar years. I met him there, and he was in town. He came on. It was awesome.
Okay, that's cool.
And he mentioned to me, he came on, he came on right when Saturday Night Live had made a decision to hire a comic, and then they fired a comic because something came out about something that he said a year or two ago or something. This was just recently, or 6 months ago. Okay. And it was right before they announced Eddie Murphy was coming on to guest host.
Oh, wow.
So in Craig's mind, the contradiction was just unbelievable because here, a young guy they hired to be one of the comics, which is such a big gig for a comedian, right? To actually get to be one of the members of the team. And a tweet surfaced or something he said about a Chinese man, and it was deemed to be offensive and it deemed to be pissing people off, so they fired him in like 48 hours. They hired him and fired him. And Craig's thing was, here's an incredibly funny guy coming on.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy, who has, an album called Delirious, I think, and on side one there's a song called Faggots Part 1. And the next album was Faggots Part 2. That was part of his thing.
That's his thing. Yeah.
And now you're going to welcome him back with open arms and cherish, his history. And then, and this guy has done worse than this young man had done. Yeah. And they threw this young man out with the dishwater immediately.
Wow.
So that was like, and that was the first I was really understanding how, and that's why my question comes to you is like that really. So the PC culture has really impeded on your industry.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it really makes you get a little more clever,
right?
Which is fine. I mean,
you have to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, keep you on your toes. And ultimately, I don't even have it in my body, in my head, to see somebody and call them a racial slur,
right?
Or see somebody and call them a faggot,
right?
Or see somebody and I don't even call my boys that, joking around, like know how some dudes be like, you fag. Like, I don't do that.
Well, because we've evolved as a people. Would you not agree? All of us. When I say people, I mean all of us.
Yes, everybody's listen, and I think if we just spread a little more kindness, then none of that shit will matter. None of that Trump and politics and just treat your fellow man like you want to be treated, and I think everything will be cool. Problem is we don't do that.
Yeah.
The problem is there's such a division, and there's it's almost like it's almost like little mini gangs everywhere. You know what I mean? And I'll fuck you up if you do this, and I'll fuck you. And
we're labeled. Everything's like a little group. Everybody's in a group.
I try to play my position. with I got a new set that I just did at the Pittsburgh Improv, September 27th through the 29th. Terry's on my show with me. I headline there, and I'm putting together a tour right now. Terry's gonna come with me actually, and it's called Still Ain't Famous.
Okay.
And what I do is I talk about all the shit that I was promised that never ever came to fruition. I never got.
Give me an example.
So you know, there's been tours that I was promised.
Okay.
That never happened, and I know that I'm funnier than the people that, you know, certain groups have on tour right now.
Got it.
So the powers that be can put you on tour, or your agent can put you on tour, or you know, or
so there's politics in the industry.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and there's people that have been doing it less amount of years than I.
Right.
And not as funny as I.
Right.
At least in my eyes, or at least what I've been told, that are on their own tour. Whereas, you know, I finally had, I mean, I'm at 19 years. I kind of put my foot down, like, I refuse to open at the Pittsburgh Improv anymore.
Got it.
You don't see, I'm not, Gary Owen was just in town. He was like, you want to be on a show? I'm like, no.
Right.
I'm a headliner.
Right.
And I'm going to be respected as such. People ask me, where you been? Where you been? I'm still doing comedy. Like, just because you don't see me at the Improv opening up for such and such, I'm done with that shit. Hey, Mike Epps is coming to town. Can you get me tickets? I want to see you too. How about fuck you? Call Mike Epps. Don't ask me for no fucking tickets to see Mike Epps. Don't call me. Where were you at when I headlined? Oh, you weren't there. That's right. Oh, guess what? I sold it out anyways. I sold it out the whole weekend anyways.
Right on.
I mean, so, but the point is,
got it.
If you didn't ever show up to support me, how dare you have the balls to ask me to give you tickets to go see another comedian, and I'm not even on the show with that comedian. Can you help me out? Can you get me on to see this other comedian? Fuck that other comedian. I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Now,
and that's taking personal ownership in your career, right? Yeah. That's you taking personal ownership.
That's me. I literally like put my foot down. I raised my prices, and I'm like, but you know what? You know what's happened then? My whole career, and now I'm respected. Yeah. Like you put T-Robe on the show, he's the headliner.
I think you have to in life in general. What are you worth, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
if you don't know your own worth and like I know what it takes to sit down and write a whole hour. I mean, that's months of work.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what no one says. I'm not sitting down like, tell them this one, tell them that. For me to sit down and figure out a set for an hour, that's multiple fuck ups on stage. A lot of material. That's a lot of time, and that's me going to a shitty open mic for no money and telling my jokes in front of these dumbass.
Speaking of that, Terry had this hysterical. He was talking about playing all these like somewhat seedy clubs. There was one in Homewood that it was just horrible beyond belief.
Yeah, he's done some venues I haven't done.
But have you cut your teeth on some rather shady area? When you started, were you playing some shady gigs?
Oh man, I can tell you when I remember like putting myself on my own tour. Like I'm going out there and fucking going to Youngstown, Ohio, and fucking or Columbus or Cincinnati even, and didn't have money and had a car and literally like getting a pizza on Friday, eating that pizza, going to the club. Can I get a guest set? They give you a guest set. You get on hopes to get on the next night and get a pay.
Okay.
So I can get gas money to take my ass back home.
Got it.
Meanwhile, sleeping in my car and eating off that cold pizza. Now that's a story that's happened with me. Wow. I ain't doing that no more. But you know, but but there's been clubs that I've gone to and been promised money, and I get done and promoters like, hey man, let me holler at you real quick. You hear let me holler at you real quick? That means the motherfuckers are not paying you.
You gotta run.
Let me holler at you real quick. You go over there like, man, we're a little short, man. We didn't sell out tonight. I don't got your money. Now I gotta fucking kill everybody in this club.
Would you be a little strained at that moment?
Yeah, strained up.
You'll strained up at that moment.
You know what? Strained up is that's part of my old.
That's
I don't even tell it no more.
Really?
I quit telling strained up. Yeah, Terry pushed me into that. He was like, "You're better than strained up." He's like, move into this now.
Shit though, man.
Strained up is a funny.
That's
I got like 30 of them.
Great material.
I got like 30 of them. Strained up.
I laughed all last night looking at that stuff.
I did you. Yeah, man, I got a bunch of them. I'm like, if you got a receding hairline and you got cornrows, you strained up. You a fat bitch with little titties and you strained up. You a man, you hard, you gangster, you a thug. But you ticklish, you strained up. Oh man, I
Where
got
does
a
that
bunch
come
of them.
from? Strained up. Where did you?
Casey Hampton, man. Casey Hampton, my good friend Casey Hampton. He used to play
Steelers,
football there for us.
Yeah.
And,
Big guy.
Yeah,
man.
real big guy,
Cool.
man. We used to hang out, man. I'm talking like I hung out with. I didn't have a job, so I was just doing comedy, and I would go to his
Isn't
house.
that your job?
What I did. That is my job. But put it this way: the money I make now from comedy versus about 10, 12 years ago.
Got it.
So when I said I didn't have a job, like I was
Sure.
$25,000 a year.
I get it. I'm with you.
12 years ago.
I'm with you.
Now I'm good. And, I got a
yeah.
Beamer and all that shit. And
Yeah.
But the thing is this. Casey Hampton would always be like, man, he's strained up. And I'm like, what? What the fuck is you saying? And then he would tell me what strained up meant. Like, it just basically means you're fucked up.
Yeah.
And you're in a fucked up type of, way or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I ran out of gas one time, and I called him. I was like, "Hemp, man, you got to come get me." He's like, "What's going on?" I said, "Man, I ran out of gas." He said, "Man, it sound like me. You strained up." And we laughed and laughed. And then I said, "You know what? The way he would say it, he was like, man, you strained up." And he would say it like that, and I remember like thinking to myself, like, that's fucking funny. I'm like, I'm gonna take that on stage. I'm gonna spin that. So what I did was, the way I spun it was I wrote down a bunch of what strained up meant. Because the way I start off my show, the way I start off my show is I talk about I'm like it's because I'm typically on shows with a lot of white comics. Again, I'm like, you reached the black section now. This is Section 8 portion of the show. It's going down. And I'm like, this shit is gonna be strained up. And I always pick a white dude. I'm like, you know what that means? And he's like, no. I'm like, right, too black, too fast. I'm like, let me slow it down. I'm gonna break down what strained up is. So then I go into my bit. I'm like, on the count of 3, I'm like, everybody need to say strained up. And I'm like, 1, 2, 3. Everyone's like, strained up. I'm like, you a fat bitch. You got little titties. You definitely like, it's strained up. You in a wheelchair. You got dirty tennis shoes. You're definitely strained up. So I got the audience going with that shit, man. I'm like, and I've written so many of them. Like, and then I get to the point now where I got this one where I'm like, if your cable bill is in your child's name, and I'm like, definitely. And they're like, strained up. I'm like, nah, you're black. That's all that is. That's some black shit. My credit was fucked up till I was 32. I owed a credit bill to Comcast. Okay, I owed a cable bill to Comcast fucking when I was 10.
Wait. Audiences, I mean, differences between a white audience and black audience. I'm guessing most of your gig is mixed, so that's kind of unfair.
Most of my gigs are mixed.
Question, but I mean, earlier in your career, were you playing like black clubs,
Oh yeah. So here's the difference. All right, here's the.
Let me ask you this question: have you ever played a primarily white audience?
Yes. Yes, all the time. I do VFWs currently. And that is they fucking knee slapping, hold down having, bingo night having.
One across the street.
Yeah, I did one. I did that.
You did
that with Matt Wolfarth. I did that with Matt. It's right here on the corner over here. I did that with Matt Wolfarth about a month ago. Oh, shit. It got like a bar in there, it's all smoky and shit. Yeah,
it's real smoky in there.
Yeah. We did a comedy show there.
Oh my god,
I headlined that.
Oh god,
yeah, I fucking did that shit. I was like, you in town? He's like, can you help me out? I said, I'll give you 30 minutes, bro. I was like, I just fucking came back from Kansas City. Now you got me in this hellhole. I said, my career's going nowhere. Let's say. I'll take a gig as long as there's money on the line. I'll take a gig. I don't give a fuck. I'll perform in your bathroom for you. I don't care. Pay me well. I'm good.
All right, differences in audiences.
All right, here's the differences in audience. So white audiences, first of all, white audiences are easy.
Okay.
They are very simple to me.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you the differences. All right, so white audiences, man, they come ready to laugh. Okay? A black audience comes with make me laugh.
Okay.
So that's the difference. White audience will come and be like, hey, motherfucker, tell the joke you told before. And then as I'm telling it, he'll look at his buddy like, see, I fucking told you. Here comes my favorite part. Oh, dude. I can't you not.
I believe it. Mm-hmm. Oh, I believe it wholeheartedly.
A black audience come, like, motherfucker, you said that shit before, man. Tell me some new shit. And look at you like this. Make me laugh. And that's the difference between a white and a black audience, you know what I mean? So what's happened is I've kind of graduated myself into having both, because my wife has her pool and brings a bunch of people, and I have my pool, and I think just being at the Pittsburgh Improv for all the years that I've been there, I've been there for 19 years. I remember like in 2001 walking up to the window and being like, you guys hiring comedians? And he was like, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, fucking here. What? So, and I've been working there ever since.
Right.
I think over the years I've built my fan base, basically just because of being at that club, my home club.
Right.
And I think when people talk to me, like when you see me, you're like, big black guy. But when I talk, I have enough, proper enunciation and proper addiction to the point where
there's a lot of articulation in your voice.
Yeah, like this guy, he could be crossover. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think once
I see it.
Yeah. So whereas some black guys will be like, motherfucker, all of that shit. That's not even English. That's not even. Yeah. And whatever. To whoever talks, I don't give a shit how you talk. I talk how I talk. You talk how you talk. Mm-hmm. So I mean, some people. And then I'm on DVE sometimes. And when I'm on DVE with Randy and Bill, and I mean, I get a drawing from that. And then I roast the Steelers, and I get a drawing from that. And so I get a lot of mixed. So which is cool now. And
a lot of white folks listen to DVE.
Yeah. You got like two and a half Negroes. 2.5 Negroes isn't that? One dude was raised by white people.
Yeah, that Hendrix guy died off like decades ago. Yeah. Man, they lost all their hope right there to get any black audience on DVE, right?
Yeah, you already know it, man. It's 2.5 Negroes. That'd be one black guy who was raised by white people, and the other 3 are biracial. So
oh my God,
that's why I mean 2.5. The halves make one. This in case you motherfuckers are stupid out there. Half of Negroes. I got one. This is her month until Valentine's Day. Black History Month. Oh. I'm telling you about Valentine's Day, you're fucking done. That's when the white side kicks in, motherfucker.
That's good.
Black History Month. He's like, we shall overcome. Now on the 15th, she's like, don't stop believing. Aerosmith, motherfucking whatever, fucking Led Zeppelin. I don't know, fucking no.
You think, let me ask you this, man. You watched it evolve. We're not that far apart in age.
Yeah,
generally. How do we get so fucked up, man? Like, why are we so caustic? Why is everything so racially sensitive? I understand the cause of a lot of it, but I mean, that's also led into everything else from political to just I see it. And one thing is, like, music and entertainment, you think would unify. That'd be where we cross over and try to tug and pull it together. See, but I see some of it.
You know the weirdest thing?
What happened?
Here's the weirdest thing. All right, so first of all, racism is a taught thing. Okay. Somebody's ancestor was like, man, fucking black people, don't fuck with them, or a black person like, oh, white people, we don't fuck with them because of our past, right? So if you don't learn and understand your past, you're destined to repeat it.
Absolutely right.
Okay, so which I highly doubt there'll ever be slavery again, but there's always going to be racism. My thing is this: what I do see and I notice now is the people in our generation have become bitter, whereas the kids, there's more interracial dating now than ever.
No doubt.
And if you go to a Lil Wayne concert, it's predominantly white. A Jay-Z concert, predominantly white. So that gives me a little bit of hope. But that being said, the millennials are fucking killing me. Like, I don't think they look at things the way we do. I don't think they have the work habits that we have. I don't think that they want...
They're mad at us.
Yeah.
They're mad at us,
and it's weird, and I don't know how it got here. I've just watched it slowly change, and it's almost like, when you're in something every day. Like, okay, so like if I could be with my wife every day for 60 days, and she could be on a diet, and on that 60th day, I'm like, look the fucking same to me. But then we can see somebody who ain't seen her. Yeah, you gotta give me the before and after. You can see somebody. I mean, not saying she needs to lose weight, but I'm just saying. Hey, I hope she doesn't hear this. It's fucking stupid. You set me up, E.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
E Max setting T-Robe up. Edit this shit out.
No way.
It's gonna be headlines. T-Robe talks about his fat ass wife.
T-Robe goes on a web show and talks himself out of his marriage.
Oh fuck! No. Seriously, like I think that when you're in something every day, you don't notice the change because it's so gradual.
True.
And then you're just in it, and then one day you look up and you're like, wait, hold on, the fuck just happened? And and this is over a course of 30 years. That the climate has changed like it did. You know what I mean? Like, people are just fucking weird now, and this is so different. And I'm like, you know, it's the craziest thing to me because I have friends that I haven't seen in 20 years, and when I see them, I treat them the same way that I treated them 20 years ago. But they've changed, which is weird. Like I went to my class reunion. I seen a guy play football when I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? What's going on? And I was like, oh, I remember you did this. And he's like, yeah. I remember that. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Kind of like walked away from me, like all weird. Like,
yeah, I had that happen to me a
couple
times.
I'm like, I don't understand. Like, first of all, I have done nothing to you in 20 years because I haven't even fucking seen you. I didn't even know you were still alive.
Right.
But then when I saw you, I'm like, yo, what's up? I go back in that place.
Yeah, naturally. That's why you're in a reunion.
Yeah. I go back to that same place. Like, I want to tell the same jokes we were talking about back then. And, you know, I remember that time you boned that girl in the bleachers. And, you know, remember that time we went over to the pizza shop? That shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and then that person's completely fucking weird. And I'm like, why are you so weird? Like, what happened? What happened in your 20 years? Because my 20 years have been fucking fun. Yeah. Great. And, you know, of course, we've all matured.
People just too uptight.
You go on to get married, and I have kids and everything. I mean, but when I see my old buddy from 20 years ago, I want to hoop it up and laugh. And
amen to that.
You know what I mean? But certain people, man, just, I don't know. So I don't understand. Again, I just think when you're in it, when you're in the storm and you're in the mix, it's a gradual effect. And it's like baby steps, and then you head down in it, and then you look up, and you're like, wait, this wasn't what I was in originally. This is like, what the fuck is going on right now? And I don't understand how it gets to that, but
I mean, fast,
everything must change. One thing I'm realizing now, man, I'm 44. I'm starting to realize my mortality. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at you know, with the death of Kobe Bryant just happening, and you know, and those things, and his daughter, and that just
it just seems so unreal.
It seems so unreal.
It's so surreal.
It's like, what the. I'm like
how did that happen?
This is bullshit. Like, he's gonna come walking out of the cave or something, and like, we've been living here for 2 days. We're good.
Yeah, well, Frizzy, Frizzy,
real good. Yeah,
Frizzy was on my show, and I met Frizzy, and we've been pretty tight since then. And he was the first person to kind of like he you know, put it out there. Yeah, I thought I had to read the clip like 10 times before I could actually believe it. And I said, I'm not even going to search that because that can't be true. Yeah, these shows always kind of like, you know, celebrities dying here and there, and then I couldn't believe that was reality.
Yeah, man, and it's just so unfortunate. At 41 years of age, he has a baby too. Like, you know, he has 3 other daughters at home, and has a baby that's under a year. I mean, that's just an awful thing that happened. And I mean, one thing I know about this is when God calls, you got to go. He makes a decision. I mean, and you can't question it.
And it's immediate.
It's immediate. You can't question it. And, you know, I mean, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Like, I've seen people in mid-sentence fall over, and die because it's your time to go. It don't matter if you sit in the room like, I'm not going to do nothing today because I might die. Yeah. Because you're fucking freaking weird. Yeah. And guess what? When God flips your switch, it's over.
But look at how that guy lived his life. He did every single thing he wanted to do. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, that's.
I think he had a hell of a life.
There's no question.
He had a hell of a life.
There's no question. It doesn't make it any less painful. No, you know.
No,
but at the same time, like you said, he didn't stay in a room and cower away and not go out there and take a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he's flying on helicopters to places and whatnot. So it's a thing, Garrick, man. That you know, he had a blessed life and very fortunate and a phenomenal talent. And, you know, God needed him. He had other plans for him. And, you know, maybe this means something, you know.
That we can't tell.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was a unifier. That's why, you know, when you see people like that in society where, you know, it's... I see it through my son. My son's 19, right? Loves sports, but primarily baseball, but just loves basketball, and he's just really into it.
Yeah.
And when he was growing up, you know, it was really interesting to me because I was a divorced dad, so I saw him like 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah, to see how my kids never had any concept of race. Does that make any sense? At least something that I could identify that they were going through because of what they loved.
Yeah.
And their friends at that age, especially, and I think we were like that probably when we were young too.
Yep.
And somewhere along the line, that gets lost,
That
as
gets
adults,
blurred or
which is
something,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But you know, Kobe Bryant, and you know, just and even like Latino players in baseball, like. My son, for the longest time, until he probably was 16 or 17, didn't even really even cognitively think about, oh, those players come from Latin America. That's like, it's not even in his mind.
Not in his mind. Yeah, it doesn't register like that.
Does it make any sense?
Because, again, like I said earlier in the podcast, that, you know, racism is taught. And, I mean, you can put a black baby, a Chinese baby, and a white baby in the room, and they're going to laugh, play, kick it, have a good time until somebody teaches them, hey, they're Chinese, or hey, he's black, right? You know what I mean?
Them.
You label them, and then you know, with labels comes, you know, all the bullshit. You know, black people do this, Chinese people do this, or white people do this. Or when people are just people, we all bleed. We're all bleeding red. We're all,
and it comes from, I think, our elders. Whether it's real subtle stuff from a parent that isn't overt, but it's there, or things your parents' friends or grandparents or neighbors you hear and you absorb that as a child.
Yeah,
and that's where I think it's that societal thing, which is going to be, I guess the only thing that's going to change that maybe is just like life over generations and generations.
Well, I mean, eventually, man, eventually, what it has to be is it has to be a numbers thing.
Yeah.
I think. And when I say that, I mean this. Eventually, there's going to be enough biracial people in the world, or enough people who, you know, don't give a fuck about racism, that truly overwhelm the ones, and then they silence their voice.
Yeah.
So either
a couple generations away, I think.
Exactly. That's what I think it'll eventually come down to, because we're not that far removed from racism and different water fountains and I mean it's 2020, but if you go back to 1920, 100 years ago, and there's people
even
who are living
50s,
now,
even in the 50s.
Yes, if there's people who are living now that experience that.
Absolutely
my great grandparents,
Absolutely right.
And they've experienced that. So we're not that far removed from it. So when we're talking about when is this going to go away, we won't be allowed to see that.
No, but I hope that other generations figure it out. I mean,
Yeah.
but at least in our generation or our parents' generation, we made the correction.
Yeah.
The big correction, I think. Now, but then living, it's a different story.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think you're right. If you're not getting out of here tonight until I talk a little bit with you about like who were some of your heroes, like who were some of your comedy heroes.
Comedy heroes.
Who did you grow up like digging, listening to?
All right, so I'm from a generation that, you know, I mean, of course, I gotta say, you know, Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor.
Okay.
And Mom's Mabley, I used to listen to her albums.
Okay.
Carlin, of course. But then when I first started like really watching comedy and Can I Do This and thinking about it, Martin Lawrence was a big influence.
Funny dude.
And a lot of people told me like in the beginning that I kind of sounded like him, and I think maybe because I watched him so much, and that taught me something. When people started saying you sound like Martin Lawrence, like on stage, or you mimic, or
you didn't
act
want
like
that,
him.
huh?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I immediately was like, I got to figure out another way to talk. Like,
Right.
You know what I mean? So I went into a different way of figuring this out, and that's how you find your voice on stage. And it's I never want to have anybody be like, you sound like when you're on stage. I want people to be like, oh, such and such sounds like T-Robe. You know, that's a bigger compliment to me than me sounding like Martin Lawrence. So Martin Lawrence was one, and then I love the Chappelle Show.
So did I.
And when I finally got to work with Dave Chappelle, that was so huge in itself that he immediately became my hero and my idol.
Okay.
So I absolutely think Dave Chappelle is phenomenal.
What's the best attribute about him as a performer?
Well, I've seen this, and this is something that no one knows. I've watched him. We were at the Carnegie Music Hall over in Homestead, and I performed with him there twice on two separate occasions or whatever. And there was probably like 6 shows the one time and 8 shows another time.
Right.
And this is the first time I was performing with him. I sat downstairs and I had a conversation with him.
Okay.
All right, so this is how this night goes. I'll rewind this real quick and I'll get through it real quickly. So
we're in no hurry, buddy.
All right, so Oddball Comedy Festival comes to town.
Okay.
And they called the Pittsburgh Improv and said, can we have your 3 funniest comedians in the city?
All right.
They sent myself, Bill Crawford, and a guy named Derek Knopfsnyder to go over, and they wanted us to open the show. So Derek goes on first, I go on second, Bill Crawford goes on third. I go on second, and I light their ass up. I mean, I'm going off. I'm ripping on people in the audience, everything. We only had 10 minutes each. 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
And then I go off. I get done. The director of Live Nation comes up to me. He goes, listen, let me get your number. So I give him my number. He goes, I'm going to have some work for you. Now, this is another one of those promises.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, cuz, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then, we watch the show. I'm watching the show, and I meet Bill Burr there. I meet Hannibal Buress, Chris D'Elia, Sarah Silverman, Chris Hardwick was on the show. I mean, all these guys, phenomenal, right? So I'm having a good time. Fast forward about 4 months, I'm laying in my bed. It's like October, November time. It's a little chilly out. I'm yelling in the room, like, hey, what do you want for dinner? And she's like, let's make steaks or something tonight. I'm like, all right, cool. It's like 4 o'clock. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, all right, let me get up. Put on my hoodie. My phone rings. Look, it says Los Angeles, California. I answered. I'm like, hello? Is this T-Robe? I'm like, yeah. And if you're calling me T-Robe, I know you're calling for comedy, for business.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, it's T. He goes, this is Cena from Live Nation. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He goes, you remember me from Oddball Comedy? I said, I absolutely do. Yeah, man, what's going on? He goes, what are you doing tonight? I was like,
tonight?
Nothing. I was about to make some dinner. Nothing, what's up?
Okay.
He goes, Dave Chappelle's in town, and I want to see if you want to open for him the next 3 days. I was like, I ain't doing shit tonight, and I'll be there. What, he goes, he gave me my pay rate, which was like more than I had ever been paid, and I'm like, it was dumb money, and it's Dave Chappelle. And he's like, would you come and open? I'm like, yeah. So get down there, get on stage, and it was 2 shows. We had to do 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock.
Right.
And get on at 8 o'clock. I'm supposed to do 20 minutes.
Okay.
So 8:20 I'm off. He's gonna go on, and he goes until like 9:20, 9:30.
Do you just know as a comedian like your time? Like, how do you time that?
I pretty much can tell when my time is up.
Okay.
Like I have a certain cadence. I'm like, if I tell my jokes in this order, this joke should be at the 20-minute mark.
Got it.
I have it that down pat.
Okay.
So, or the comedy clubs will light you. They'll put a red light on, like,
all right,
yeah, you're done. You know what I mean? So, I'm going, and I'm realizing like I'm around 20 minutes, and I'm like, so I was like, all right, I'm about to get out of here, and I look to the side, and he's like, keep going. He's giving me the motion, like, keep going. I'm like, all right. Boom, I get back into it. I go. I do like another 10 minutes, and I keep like looking, like, when am I done? Like, I'm at 30 now.
I'm on overtime now.
Yeah, I'm like, when am I done? But the funny thing was, I knew I was getting close to being out of material.
Okay.
But not too close. I probably had another 20 minutes in me, and I was at 30. So I was like, all right, keep going. I look over, and he goes, extend, keep going. I'm like, what the... Dude, I'm fucking doing a headline set up here now. So I keep going. Then I just start digging into dirty jokes. I start telling dick jokes or whatever. And the audience is crying. I'm talking, they're crying. I talk about, I got this joke called Suck Dick Detector. It's fucking, or I'd ask a girl, does she suck dick? And I'm like, yo, you're fucking lying. Because if you walk through that Suck Dick Detector, it will go off. And I'm like, some of you dudes in here will walk through that same Suck Dick Detector. And I'm telling this in front of these thousands of people, and so I'm like literally like going off, and then if I finally get the close, and then I boom go into my last joke, and I kill it, I rock it, standing ovation.
Okay, that's amazing.
I walk off the side, and Dave Chappelle appears out of the darkness, and he was like, my nigga, dapped me up, shook my hand. I was like, Dave Chappelle, I'm like, oh, let me suck your dick. It was so ridiculous.
Not literally.
Not literally. But I literally was like, oh my God, it's Dave Chappelle. Like I didn't even know what to say. I was like, wank you. I meant to say thank you, and I like my tongue tied to whatever. I couldn't even talk.
Tongue tied.
Yeah, tongue tied. So I'm like, all right, man, thanks. So boom, they're like, for Dave Chappelle. Boom, he goes on stage. He does his thing. He does an hour.
Okay.
I'm sweating profusely because I just did like 45 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're up there, you're sweating now, so I'm sweating.
Doubt.
I'm like, I'll get a towel. I'm like, I need a drink. I get a drink, I get a cocktail. So I'm like, all right, all right, I'm cool. So I'll go back up and I watch him. Mm-hmm. Then his set's over. So we got to go downstairs now and relax, and we got another half hour before the next show starts.
Right.
We go downstairs and we start talking. And he said, I kept you going on purpose. I want to see what you had. And he's
How about that?
And he said, you impressed me.
What that?
He said, in fact, I was enjoying your set, watching you. I was enjoying it. He said, I didn't want you to stop. He said, I have became a fan of yours.
How about that?
And that might have been the biggest and best compliment.
That's amazing.
So that's why I say Dave Chappelle's like one of my heroes. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he made me go longer so he could watch me.
How about that?
And then after that, he was like, we got some more shows for you.
How about that?
Boom, 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 boom. Kept doing, did about 30 shows with him.
Wow.
Yeah, I got several pictures, everything. Like, I mean, it's insane. Yeah.
That's a hell of a resume.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Kevin Hart I got on there, Cat Williams I got on there, Mike Epps. I mean, name them. There's not a comic I haven't opened up for.
Wow.
Me and Terry just did Sinbad a couple months ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he was telling me about that. Sinbad.
Yeah, Sinbad.
He said Sinbad called out his dad or something. His dad sold Sinbad shoes.
Yeah. He called him
Little
out.
shoes.
He talked about all of us. He brought us on stage and ripped on all of us. And then he looked at me. He was like, look at you. You're broke. I was like,
he called you broke.
Yeah, I was like, you have no fucking clue how not broke I am. He said your joke sounded like you was broke. I was like, the fucking jokes.
See,
I said, your jokes don't sound rich.
So he's a little edgy? Sinbad's a little edgy? Because I haven't seen him in a long time.
He didn't swear.
Okay.
He didn't swear.
Okay.
He definitely didn't swear. But off stage, he's like, motherfucker. He doesn't curse on stage.
Got it. That's interesting. That's interesting.
But off stage, he will fuck you up and down. Motherfucker, up and down. But yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. It's cool, man. Cool times, man. Good times.
What'd you think? What was your impression of Cosby? All the other nonsense at the end here aside.
Yeah.
As a comedian.
You know what?
As a comedian.
As a comedian, he was a beast because number one, he didn't swear. Number two, he was able to do comedy. I've seen him do comedy and not really repeat his sets or materials.
That's wild.
Which is insane to me. You know how your brain has to work.
Yeah, he's also 197 years old. He's been doing it for 7 years.
That is factual. that is factual. It's just one of those things that I just like, wow, man. Like this guy like has a wealth of knowledge in the game, and they're just disappointing what happened. I think that I have my own thoughts on that. It's one of those things that I just it's disappointing, and at this point, I'm like, this dude's gonna die in jail now. I mean, hopefully he gets out soon, and he can.
Let me ask you this:
enjoy some of that money he got.
Why was Carlin? Carlin was about as white as a white guys you're going to get.
Yeah.
But why did he cross over? Like, why did so many? They had a lot of black audience. I mean,
he was like a little bit raw too. I mean, like you know what I mean?
Very raw.
And I think black people like that.
Okay.
We like when you be like, fuck that. We like that. We like that. We don't want to hear all that mom and pop shit. Like, oh, dude. Yeah. Why did the chicken cross the street?
But why was the Cosby so popular then? The Cosby Show was so popular, and there wasn't a lick of controversy on
because it depicted a black family doing something positive.
Okay.
Which was rarely seen in Hollywood.
Got it.
I mean, now I know I grew up in a black family that
absolutely.
I don't have a struggle. I
absolutely.
I had Jordans every fucking month. I had whatever I wanted, but I didn't grow up in a struggle. And I think
Hollywood didn't depict real life.
Yeah. I mean, and the whole Cosby thing was just like
okay.
It was something.
So it was a moment then.
Yes, it was a moment that black people got to shine on TV.
Okay.
And it wasn't like the whole showing black people in a bad light. It showed black people going to college. They did a college spinoff called A Different World.
Yeah.
From that.
Yeah.
So it showed a whole different side of what black people can do and what they're about, and it was all positive.
Okay.
There was nothing negative, and he made sure of it. He made sure there was nothing negative, and I think that's what. It made it such a huge thing.
Okay.
And plus, it was good. It was a good show, man. It was funny.
It
was funny. Well written.
It was well written. Yeah,
it was well written. So it's one of those things, man, where I'm like, I was a fan of it, and your brain, your brain tricks you into thinking is that's Bill Cosby every day.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
When in fact, probably not.
I'm pretty sure. Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Hey, I want some pussy. No. Not gonna give it to me? Drink this, bitch. Now I'm gonna have it.
Did you like in Living Color? Did you dig that?
Yes. Listen, and funny thing about that is Every comedian that was on Living Color became a famous and successful comedian.
I know.
Every single one of them. You can't name me one that didn't.
The Wayans brothers.
Everybody went on to do
Jim
great
Carrey.
things, man. Tommy Davidson was on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jamie Foxx was on there.
Jamie Foxx was on there.
Yeah, everybody, man. Jennifer Lopez was a backup dancer on
I
there.
didn't even know that.
Yes, she was one of the fly girls, they called her.
No kidding.
Yes, man. Look at her. I mean, Jesus.
And Martin Lawrence had that. I mean, he had his own show for a while, right? What was it? Was it called Martin?
It's called Martin.
Yeah.
It's called Martin. I still watch the reruns of it. Like, 'cause I'm at home during the day, like, I'll put it on, and it's insane. So,
all right,
yeah.
well, give us a lowdown. What's going on with you now?
So right now I'm basically all right. So coming up here locally, I got a bunch of. I'm doing a Teamsters Union on February 1st. I'm
corporate
doing
stuff, right?
corporate stuff like that. So I have a bunch of that coming up. That's uninvitable to. Like, so
right. It's private
when in
stuff.
doubt, you can go to comediantrobe.com. All my shit's on there.
ComedianTrobe.com and your Facebook page as well too.
Yep, my Facebook page is just T-Robe. My Instagram is T.Robe Comedy, same as my Twitter, T-Robe Comedy.
So all this, man.
Yeah, man. Follow me, guys. So the good thing is this. I have a bunch of corporate gigs coming up, but I also am working on this tour right now currently with the Pittsburgh Improv.
Okay.
And it's going to put me in about maybe 11 cities.
Good for you.
And it's called the Still Ain't Famous Tour.
Yeah.
So it's pretty huge, man. In fact, when we get done, I'm going to show you a clip.
All right.
And I'll show you something that, people don't see until it comes out.
And you do corporate gigs. So anyone out there thinking about corporate entertainment?
Yes, I do corporate gigs and then the whole bit. So
come and tear your ass up.
Yeah, don't be strained up. Don't be strained.
Because he'll tell you if you're strained up or not.
No, so I'll do all of that stuff, man. And then, we're putting this whole thing together. Then I think come around the summertime, we're going to film Still Ain't Famous.
Oh, good for you.
And then I'm going to have it shopped to Netflix.
Good for you.
That's the beginning of my 2020, at least the first 6 months of it. So
right on.
Yeah, so that's it, man.
You come back and see me,
man. Absolutely, I promise you.
And I want to bring we're gonna bring a Terry on too. I want both of you on the same time.
Let's do that because Terry and I we have so much to talk about.
Yeah. And while we know it, Terry, I got to put some extra SD cards in the camera.
Yeah, I know.
They go a little long.
Batteries all worn out and everything.
Thank you, my friend. This is awesome.
No problem, man.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
All right, guys. T-Robe, we are out.
Bang. What's this lady want here?
Dude, thank you so much, man.
No problem, brother.
Yeah,
man, I had a good time.
This is tremendous.
Tips above the water, you watch me drown. You could have saved me, but you let me down. Yeah.